Trials Unit at the University of York. This is the Research Room. Welcome to the Research Room with me, Lucy Apper.
And me, Janine Healy.
And today in the Research Room, we're really lucky to be joined by a mother-daughter duo, PPI representatives from the BAE project, Toni and Emma Wakefield. Welcome to the Research Room. And so BAE is a randomised control trial looking at behavioural activation for young people with depression. So if you haven't already, go back and listen to our full BAE episode and you can learn all about the project. But today we're going to be talking about public and patient involvement. So would you like to just introduce yourselves?
Hello, I'm Emma. I'm a co-chair of the Young Person PPI panel.
Hi there, I'm Toni and I'm Emma's mum. So I'm the co-chair of the Parent Carer panel.
Brilliant. So, BAE, you've got two panels, one patients and one, young people and carers. Brilliant.
Could you explain what PPI is, patient public involvement is, from your point of view?
From my point of view as a parent carer, it's about getting a voice across of parents and carers so I can come at it with what my experiences were and are and what that feels like to get that across. But I'm also conscious that I'm doing that or leading a panel of people who've equally got their own experiences, which might all be different. So I'm trying to get a representative of this is what it might feel like from a parent's point of view.
For me, it's just about using your own experiences to sort of influence the trial. So I guess good things and bad things we've experienced, I feel like I can use that in an advantage. So I guess something good comes out from a bad experience. And I guess we sort of talk about things and how it might make you feel, or any problems or any good things as well, which I think are essential. And I guess so the PPI is just making sure that like everyone who it's going to affect and be in the trial, like that it's in their best interest.
Brilliant. Yeah, so it's generally involving members of the public and kind of, I guess, they're representative of your target population and, you know, you impact on the trial, are really part of the trial team because you've got such a great insight. And at the end of the day, you're the people that the trial is trying to help and target. So it's a really useful resource. So first, could you just tell us how you got involved with the BAE PPI?
So, I guess where it started, so I was admitted to CAM's inpatient unit quite a while ago now. Stayed there for like pretty much 2 years, probably like 3 weeks, less than 2 years.
Yeah.
And so when I was discharged, I started doing participation groups and like, you know, expert by experience or someone who's experienced a service.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where sort of the PPI things sort of started for me and for my mom. And I think it started off with you, didn't it? So the psychiatrist who was with me, who was my doctor at the hospital, she asked me and my mum to help with this trial that she was doing. And also, so the co-chair of both panels with me and my mum, he was an independent advocate at the hospital I was at as well. So they both knew us both quite well because I was in hospital for a while and they know we do things like this. And I think I was sort of asked because I did a dissertation on co-production and experts by experience in service development. So I think I had a little bit of prior knowledge of research and things like that. So I think that's sort of how we started.
Yeah, they definitely thought, you'd be a good one.
Maybe.
Yeah, and for me, it turns before I started doing PPI, I did a bit of sort of parent and carer groups and a little bit of getting involved even while Emma was in hospital. So I was asked to sort of perhaps give a bit of feedback on something. I became a carer rep on a national carer representative. So I'm a representative for the Royal College of Psychiatry in London. And I've sort of got involved in, again, from Emma's psychiatrist, she's invited me on all sorts of projects and things, and and it's evolved from there really.
Yeah.
So when this this Bay project was coming alive or being planned. I was part of the planning of that project in terms of the costing of it, what it might look like, whether it would, really from this is the plan, what do you think? So I was involved at that point. Emma came on board a little bit after that, but really we've both been in it from the start. And it's really around this is what we're thinking of doing. Will it work? What do you think? What would it feel like? And actually really bringing that to life. We were also both involved in recruiting. So we are co-chairs of those panels, but they are panels. So we have a panel of carers, a panel of young people, and we were both involved in recruiting the parents and young people that would come on to those panels.
So you helped to find the other members as well?
Yeah, so we were part of that. In terms of actually doing that recruitment, but also the advert to recruit of how do we get people involved? What should we put on the flyer?
Yeah.
How will this, how will this work? What should we say? Does this picture look okay?
Yeah.
So there was all sorts of things that we were involved in right from the start that has then continued throughout the trial.
Yeah.
It's quite unusual, isn't it, to have 2 patient PPI panels? You say you started off first. Did you always going to have a teenagers panel?
Yeah, so there was always a plan to have the young person and the carer. I think the young person was recruited a little bit slower, I think.
So, yeah.
The parent was up and running a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
But equally on the parent panel that I'm on, one of the people on that panel is, she's youngish, shall we say, but she's a carer, but she's also the patient as well. So she sees it from both perspectives.
Yeah.
And we have had a couple of joint panels where we, the patients and the carers come together into one panel meeting. So most of the meetings are online through Teams, but we have had a couple of occasions to meet in person. Today is potentially, like that day that we could have all got together.
Oh yes, and you're on like it's a special day, isn't it?
An away day, I think. Yeah.
They're calling it an away day, and it's really for the researchers to all come together, and then us to put our little jib in of the challenges that they're having with recruiting, patients to the trial. Well, what do you think? And we've had some sort of activities today to sort of, this is the approach we're using for us to say, actually, have you tried it this way? So that's what today has been about. And it's nice to sort of put, names to faces. And so this is probably the 3rd time that some of us have been in the room together physically, which is really nice.
No, it's nice. Yeah, I'm jealous. I want an away day on my research project. Brilliant. Yeah, so you've really been involved from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many people do you have on a panel?
I think the maximum was about 6 or
6 to 8, I'm thinking
Oh,
around.
right, yeah, so a good thing for people.
The parent one, I'm not sure about the young people, but I think the parent one is pretty much fully resourced.
Yeah.
But apart from one of them, they've all been on it from the start.
Oh, okay.
One of them was recruited a little bit later, but not much.
Yeah.
So we've all been together almost for a few years now, because the trial has been going for a few years.
Yeah.
So it's like sort of meeting up with friends again every few months.
Yeah. That was my question. How often do you meet then?
It's every couple of months, isn't it, normally? And quite often it's if there's perhaps an update in terms of the funding or, a particular challenge or what do you think of this? But there are activities sometimes in between as well, I think.
I think when the trial first started, I think there were a lot more meetings to organise, because we did a animation and a website and things which we had influence on. So I think because the trial needed that animation and the website to actually do the research, so we had a lot more meetings, but we still meet regularly, and just a lot of the time it's asking for our opinions on things.
And do you feel that your opinions help the research then, and they think have they made changes because you've said something?
Yeah, I think so.
Definitely, yeah. I think from the start. So we have a logo for the trial, and I remember back to the days when we were talking about the logo, the app,
I remember this.
All of these, and we were presented with a whole load of, this is the potential logo. Some of them look like a holiday camp. They all gave everybody It was about 9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, that because it's called the Bay, and we sort of come from
Mm.
Lancashire, and there's Morecambe Bay, which brings in a different
Oh, yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And one looked like a holiday camp, and then so we sort of came to a consensus of this would be the best one.
Yeah.
But then it's what colours. So there was all sorts of debate about the colours.
Oh, I bet.
And so it's quite a simple logo. I don't know if you've seen it, but
Yeah,
obviously
yeah,
you could
I
check
like
that
it.
out. But it was sort of the colours of it, and it's sort of shades of yellow and purple, and sort of a person, and it's sort of meant to represent the sort of coming into a more positive, sunshiny sort of point of view. And if you know that, you think, actually, yeah, that it absolutely encapsulates that. But if you just look at it, you wouldn't necessarily know the trauma that had gone through. and I don't know whether we call it debate, challenge, of no, you can't, and arguments, maybe.
Very civilised
Yeah.
debates, I'm
It is
sure.
like-
Yeah. And doing the app and the animation, there was a lot of input into that in
Yeah.
terms of, and I think somebody on the young person panel had some sort of talk about sort of the cultural
Yeah.
definitions and changes. So that was it taken on board by the animators to actually create
Like inclusive.
the inclusivity.
And what are
promote it.
the animations used for then?
So I think the trial is 8 sessions, and there's an animation at the start of each session. I think it's about 30 seconds, something like that. It's a bit of an overview of
I
what the
see.
session will be. Yeah.
It's just to tell you about the trial,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
about what's going to happen to them.
And then there's the app, isn't there?
Yeah,
There's the app, or there's like a workbook approach. So there's sort of that inclusivity in terms of not everybody will want to do it on an app, but others might want to do it on a piece of paper, and
Yeah.
it's that. So we've made it and developed it so that it could be used in multiple ways to be more inclusive and accepted better.
Brilliant. And what other kind of things have you been involved in with Base of the app and the more visual things? Was there any more operational details? I think you were helping with follow-ups and things like that, the questionnaires.
Yeah, so originally in terms of the planning of, this is what we want to achieve, we looked at what were the appropriate questionnaires to use, what the appropriate questions to ask to young people, to parents, to both, what those, the intricacies of that are, things around ethnicity or other considerations, demographics of what we may need to include, what we can, what we can't, what we thought of, if we were asked that question. For me, as a parent, it's, is it okay to have some sort of questions in there about the parent's mental health? Is that appropriate? How would you feel as a parent if they were asking you that?
Yeah.
So those type of conversations. And today, in our activities today, has really been about, we're looking at how to increase sort of the recruitment and how the follow-up calls should be operated. So we did a bit of a role play scenario this morning in terms of the researchers of the team acted like a parent and a researcher, and we then picked that apart in terms of, you can't ask a parent that, or have you thought, how would that feel to you if you received that call?
Yeah.
So that was something that we did this morning.
Yeah. And I think in terms of recruitment, so get people on the actual trial, but also like the retention of the trial. So it's really important to have like the follow-up session. So I think, is it 6 months, 12 months?
I think there's six weeks.
Oh, yeah. So thinking of ways to encourage people to stay. We've been asked advice on like texts or emails, and I think it's been quite insightful because the young people on the panel have sort of said what they would prefer if they were on the trial, and I think it's given them, like the researchers and everyone, a good idea of how to approach it, but also at the same time to acknowledge that everyone's different. So it's important to know your patient, like your young person, but also consider like when you're first meeting, you won't know that.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's really important that, because I think as researchers, we might design a trial one way and think, I don't know, we're going to do postal questionnaires and think, everyone will be fine with that. But then it's really important to get your perspective to say, actually, this is a much better way of getting those questionnaires filled in.
Yeah.
And I think so quite often we'll have 2 separate meetings, one for the young people, one for the carers, and they're normally within a week of each other.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll be sat next to Emma while she's in her meeting to hear what she says, and then I'll be in the carers meeting. And sometimes they absolutely align in terms of we all want the same thing, but others it's quite interesting to see, the young people want this, the parents would prefer it like this, and it's how do we align those approaches or use different approaches for parents and for young people. And sometimes we make assumptions, or professionals make assumptions that, particularly with young people, I would say, that they'll all want to do it online. They'll all want to do it on a phone.
Actually,
They'll all respond to text, and actually, some of them actually want to go back to that paper, or haven't got the technology to do it online, or want a face-to-face visit. They want a person in front of them, and sometimes those assumptions are made of, like you said, well, we'll do it on paper because everybody will do it, but actually, it's about offering that flexibility, and that's when these panels can actually say, well, I say this, Emma says that, you say this, and we need a mix, and we can't use one approach because one approach doesn't meet all everybody's needs.
Yeah,
that's well explained. So, is being on the PPA panel what you expected?
I think for me, I hadn't really co-chaired like a PPI meeting before, but I had like participated in it, and I think it's sort of like a full circle moment, like being on the other side of sort of helping chair it, and like you can still contribute, but you're sort of there to facilitate. So I think I wasn't sure what to expect, but I mean it's good, and I like doing it. So
good.
Has it had an impact on you?
I'd like to think. Yeah, I think so.
And you've enjoyed the experience, you said?
Yeah.
And how have you found being on it? And with your daughter as well? How's that been?
I think that's quite bizarre sometimes. So I'm always, like I say, I started doing some of this work and like training with the NHS before research, but it, that sort of speaking with professionals about what it feels like. And I've been in, many rooms where someone's sort of changed hearts and minds and seen them sort of turn, actually, that's what it feels like. I don't like it. So it's really good to be able to put that across. In terms of the PPI, like Emma said, it's sort of, I'm there and I have got a voice and opinion, but I want to try and facilitate others giving their voice and opinion as well. And we're all representing our own voice, but how can we have a common voice? But being sort of the other side of the story, we have a story together. Emma has her own story, I have my own, but we have a shared story. Yeah. But I'm always conscious that if I do something with Emma, I always have to feel conscious of how Emma might feel if I share something that perhaps she didn't want me to share. And I've just shared it, it's out there. And it's like, oh, I hope that does it. I don't think we've had any of those moments, but I'm always conscious of I'm sharing how it felt like for me, but that might then make Emma feel uncomfortable.
Of course,
or, well, it didn't feel like that for her because she, she's got her own story. And equally, if Emma shares something, I was like, oh, I didn't realise it felt like that. So we really have to consider each other perhaps more than we would if we do it individually. So we do have to approach it slightly differently. But I think we're okay with that, aren't we? We're both okay with that because we're still here and still doing it.
Well, you make a good team.
You do, And you do consider each other. I noticed when we came in here, you said, where do you want to sit and everything. And so you're always considering each other as...
I think just we're quite close, aren't we? So I think we know each other quite well, and I guess I know that you'd never mean to upset me, and I wouldn't mean to upset you, and I don't think we've ever had a problem. But I guess sometimes I'm the same in terms of like, God, if this upsets my mum, comments. So I think we both feel that way about each other. So I think probably more considerate, I guess. But I think we pretty much know each other about everything that we talk about. So we're normally fine with it.
Do you think being on the panels together has helped you as a parent and daughter?
I think it has evolved, and obviously we're sort of this space where it's as time goes on, it's further and further away in the past. There's still some difficulties, and there's still that context is still there, but it's not as raw or as recent. But I think probably the start of sort of maybe developing that was actually when you were in hospital, wasn't it? In terms of events and things that happened there that changed our relationship in ways that have maybe strengthened it to come to the point that we are now, that we can do this together. Because I recognise, there may be some parents who want to do this, or some young people who want to do this, but would they do it together? Maybe not. But we can. And, I feel privileged that we can. And, we do that, I think, quite well together, really sort of we sort of complement each other.
Yeah, I think that's the word I was thinking. Yeah,
Yeah.
you do complement each other, and it's nice to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you recommend PPI to other people being on PPI panel? If I can say it right.
I would, yeah. I think I would recommend it, but I think you need to be in a certain place of mind at the time. So sometimes it might not be the right time, but I think you probably know in yourself whether it's right or not, and how raw is raw the right word? I don't know how raw it has been since you've left services, and if you still really struggle, and if it would be too much of a trigger for you to participate. I would recommend it. And I guess I talked about my dissertation before, and part of that research was how it affects the person who participates in co-production activities, and it was shown to improve confidence and self-esteem, and I guess just it helps you recognize positive things in yourself. And I think I said before about making a good thing out of bad experiences. So some experience I've had, and then being able to use that for good, I guess it feels good, and I guess it makes you more accepting of it and not always triggered, I find, for me personally. So I think if you're in the right place of mind for it, then I would recommend it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's been really, really positive experience for you, and great that you're able to then go on and kind of use it for your own at university, doing your dissertation. So do you think you'll go into research in the future?
Considered it, didn't you?
I considered it, but
or have we put you off?
No, it's not that.
Well, you've gone up to master's level,
Yeah,
haven't
I've
you?
got a
But it was
Wow, brilliant.
so it's do I go the next step? Not yet, but maybe.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
And Toni, would you recommend being involved in PPI?
Yeah, definitely. But as I said before, it's not necessarily for everyone. And as Emma said there, you've sort of got to consider, how much you can put into that, how much you want to share. There is no pressure to share in terms of, sometimes we share things that actually it's quite personal. But that's your choice to share that or not. But to me, by doing that, it actually highlights and shows why I'm saying that or why I feel so passionately about something. It sort of gives the context behind why that matters. So I think that is sort of really, a valuable part of the experience. I think key to sort of perhaps this trial, and I've done a lot of work in participation and whatever, but not necessarily on a trial before. But a key to this one is having there's a participation lead who, as Emma said, was her advocate. So what he does is he's in that position to sort of work alongside me and Emma to sort of get that message across that if this does feel a bit close to the bone, that you feel you've shared too much, that's sort of debrief time, and that there's somebody to talk to if you feel you've actually revisited something that you really didn't want to. So it's really important to have somebody like that, or have that as part of the conversation, that actually we realise that you're sharing some quite personal stuff here that might not necessarily trigger something, but might just take you back to that moment, just for a moment, that it's okay to, we'll give you time and space to come back from that. Rather than just let's move on to the next meeting and, you're all right again. But that's the personal thing as to how much you will share, how much you're willing to share. But I think it's a really valuable experience. But equally, anything that I've done like this, it's so important to see almost the fruit of your it's that the fruit of your labours, that you've said don't do this or suggested something, and you actually see it up on the screen or on a form or in an app. It's like, oh yeah, we were part of that, and it's like a bit of a proud moment, rather than sharing your opinions and then it goes nowhere and it's not used. And so that's a really valuable part of the research, that you are listened to and it isn't dismissed.
Yeah, definitely. I think kind of the whole thing about kind of good PPI is when you are really part of the team. You're not just kind of someone who we tick a box to say,
we asked a carer, tick. It's a young person, tick.
Exactly.
Oh, we actually asked two, another tick. And that's what makes it really valuable.
Yeah. Brilliant. Oh, you're making me want to join a PPI panel. What can I do? Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for talking to us all about that. I think we've learned loads about PPI, and I think the Bay Project is a really good example of PPI done really well.
Yeah.
And you've obviously had a big impact on the project, so
Thank you.
that's brilliant. I think now we've got just a little bit of fun. We've got some kind of more fun, random questions for you. So we do this every episode, and usually they're kind of researcher focused, but we've tweaked them a bit to be more PPI focused. So I'm going to choose them randomly.
I can't see.
You pick one.
I'll pick one.
That one? Ooh, that one. Okay, so they're a mix of kind of fun things and also sort of nice things.
Yeah.
So first one is there one thing that you wish that you knew earlier on in the project?
I'm not sure that there is for me, because I feel that I went into it prepared, knew what it was involving.
Yeah.
And like I say, because I was in it from the start, I knew what the plan was.
Yeah.
I was part of that plan. And then when Emma came on, she sort of knew from me that there wasn't any surprises.
Yeah.
I haven't done a research trial before. It is my first. But and I think I'm probably lucky that it is so well run and so well organised that it's the way a research trial should be.
Yeah.
So maybe not for me, but I don't know if you feel the same.
Maybe for me, the only thing I struggle with, like, confidence in myself. So when I was asked to be like a co-chair, I was a bit,
what do I do?
Yeah. But as I've got on, I've like become more confident, and the participation lead with us has really supported both of us. And I guess because I hadn't done it before, so I guess the only thing I would have wished I'd known is that I would be okay doing it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've got to do things that you're anxious about. And
definitely.
just go with it. So I guess that's probably the only thing. But
brilliant. And it's so nice to see, like, you can see that it's really improved your
thank
confidence.
you.
And
Yeah, you can, because you're on this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nicely.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, you pick one.
If your research had a theme song, what would it be?
Oh
no.
Well, you've helped them pick the
the
logo.
Oh, yeah.
I will say.
Oh, I love it. That's a great one.
That's a brilliant one. I will survive.
There's a story behind that one. I don't know if you want us to share that.
Yeah. If you want to share it.
Well, years ago we went to Florida, and there was a new ride at Universal. Rip Ride Rocket, I think it's called.
Oh.
And you go on, and as you go on, each seat you can choose the music that plays while you go around the ride.
Oh, yeah.
So Emma was sat next. Obviously, we had different music. I can't even remember what I chose, but Emma chose that song. But I didn't know, so she was sat next to me on this ride, screaming because she was singing the song that loud, and I thought she was just petrified. But no, she was just, I will survive on this really fast ride.
I love it. I think that's a very good choice.
Luckily, she did, as we can see.
Yeah.
I'm glad
you survived.
That's a good one. Yeah,
That's a great one. I like it.
They can have it on the.
You can suggest that at the next PPI event.
Yeah. Do you want to choose another one?
Okay, I'll pick one. What's your favourite way to unwind after a long day of being a PPI panel co-chair?
So we have a history, because in terms of, I think the last time we went on a away day, we had a concert that evening.
Oh yeah.
Today we're in a different, it's always in a different town. Today we're in a different town, so perhaps, tasting the wares of York in terms of
nice.
drink, food, whatever that may be, in the lovely sunshine.
Nice weather, yeah.
So I think it's either one of those, isn't it, really? A bit of a chill time.
Yeah, relax.
Yeah, relax, explore.
Yes.
Nice food. Lovely. Okay. If you could have any superpower to help with your PPI involvement, what would it be?
I think it'd be about seeing into the future in terms of being able to think, yes, that's going to be successful.
Yeah, you could check.
Sort of
like,
inside.
Idea. Yeah,
Will
and
it work?
Yeah, probably similar or...
Yeah, that's good.
You don't have to have different. You can have the same superpower.
You can have the same superpower.
Yeah.
That's not a bad plan, is it? If we're on the same trial.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Brilliant. Right, we'll do one more. Do you want to read one?
Okay, I can't read it from that distance.
Oh, have you got your glasses on?
I have. If your research had a catchphrase, what would it be? Oh, that's a harder one than
Who made these questions?
Maybe it would just be, I will survive.
Yeah.
I guess, like, in terms of I will survive, we have survived. We've got, like, new investments and things. So I guess we're just kind of carrying on. So I guess knowing we can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
That's phrased
Okay.
it.
Yeah. So I guess just knowing
You can do this.
We'll get to the end and we'll have the answers, hopefully.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, the sky's the limit or nothing's impossible.
Yeah,
It's that we can
Yeah,
achieve
very
this together.
positive.
Yeah. Positive.
Yeah, that's a good one. We can achieve this together because you are
Yeah.
like mother and daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming today and joining us in the research room. So if people want to learn a bit more about the Bay PPI and also PPI in general, if they can get involved, we'll put kind of links and things in the show notes. So there'll be lots of information in there. But yeah, just again, thank you so much for coming.
It's been
Thanks,
fantastic having you on. You're
Thank
both inspirational.
Oh,
Yeah, really inspirational.
thank you.